from a making customers successful. I think the biggest challenge we face, like many other startups, is customer acquisition is very hard when you're a new brand and trying to raise visibility for your company and awareness. Honestly, is sometimes a challenge, and so we're doing a lot of things to kind of raise that awareness and hopefully get more and more companies to try the product.
Provide us with an overview of this world that Caliper is now part of and is trying to expand and form key partnerships in.
Absolutely. So one of the emerging trends in the industry is more and more software companies are billing their products on a consumption basis. So Snowflake was the real pioneer in this area. Snowflake was a Tableau partner for many years, just an unbelievable product. I was a huge advocate of moving our own data from SQL Server on kind of on-premises servers to moving it to the Snowflake cloud when I was at Tableau. But one of the experiences of that is you start out and your first kind of few invoices, it's around $50,000, and then 2 or 3 years later, you find that you're spending $2 or $3 million a year on Snowflake because the amount of data across the organization that is being analyzed using Tableau on top of Snowflake. And so what I experienced at least was it was very hard for us to understand what data is being analyzed, how frequently is that being queried, are there any inefficient queries? So what queries are costing us the most? And that's very hard to do with the Snowflake native billing console. At least particularly when I was at Tableau, and I think they've made a number of enhancements and announced that in the last 6 months. But if you go back in time, there really was no ability, at least when we started Caliper, for companies to understand which Snowflake queries were costing them the most. And so what we did is we have the ability to analyze your Snowflake spend, maybe do a scatter plot of which queries are taking the longest to run or which ones are most inefficient. And then the customer can make an informed business decision on, well, I'm spending this amount of money on these 10 queries. I'm spending more than half my entire Snowflake spend on these 10 queries, and maybe 7 of those 10 are like core things that the business needs to be successful. But there's 2 or 3 maybe that, wow, I didn't realize this person was spending this much money to analyze this particular data set, and that's not very valuable to my organization. And then they can make an informed business decision to say, wow, we're going to scale that back from running that query once an hour or downloading that data or whatever they're trying to lower the spend, and we're going to do that on a weekly basis, or we're going to batch it, or whatever it is. And so that's the type of insight that we can deliver to companies that never had that before.